And we're back. We're back for another evening discussion with SO Cruising and GoLuxuryCruiser.com. My name is Paul with SO Cruising. With me, as always, is Chris with GoLuxuryCruiser.com. Chris, how are you today?
Doing good. Doing good.
Spectacular. What is our major topic of the evening? Looks like you got a nice looking ship behind you.
Yeah, today we are going to talk about the Ovation of the Seas. Probably the nicest ship sailing around in Alaska's market. I mean, this ship's got it all. Just like Royal Caribbean, always over-delivering, bionic bartenders, you name it, it's on this ship. And the North Star, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Which I don't even know what that is, so we'll definitely be discussing that. So for those of you who are new to SO Cruising, Chris and I have been working together for quite a while in the travel world and in life in general. We've been friends for a very long time. And today we're going to go over this ship. I'm going to give you the specifics about it, the fun things about it, all the things you wanted to know but didn't know you needed to know. More importantly, Chris has been working on cruise ships Chris worked on cruise ships for 10 years and has been a travel advisor for the last 10 years. So there's literally nothing that he doesn't know about being on a cruise ship. Okay. So this is like a whole new way to review one of these, because you're not getting a sales pitch. You're not getting the Royal Caribbean telling you how great it is. And you're not getting crappy reviews online telling you how bad it is. We're just giving you the information that you want to know and stuff that you need to know before you book it. So if you enjoy this video, we got a whole bunch of other ones. Just make sure you subscribe and become a part of our world. And you can also, real quick, Chris, and we'll get to it. I know I just talked for like 2 minutes straight. You can go to email Chris at GoLuxuryCruiser.com. That email that's on the screen right now. It's on the screen right now. And Chris will help you get anything that you need to get booked. So we're going to talk about the Ovation of the Seas. This was launched in, 2014? Part of it's sisters with the Allure, and what's the other one? What? No, it's not.
She is a different class of ship.
Oh,
she is part of the. Oh gosh, you got me off guard there. I will have that
Oasis.
for you in a minute.
The Oasis Class.
No, this is not an Oasis Class ship. She is a brand new class of ship. She's sort of a blend between.
It's the Quantum.
Quantum, thank you. That was the name I was looking for. That name literally escaped my brain when I was trying to say it. I actually was on the Quantum's inaugural journey, but this ship has some pretty amazing stuff on it that no other ship in the world has. This class of ship is unique.
Well, that's pretty strong to claim on something like this. So let's start out with one of those. Like, I'm looking to book a cruise. I ask you about the Ovation, and the first thing you say is, this is something that nothing else has. Give me one of them.
Okay, well, one of the things is this ship's summertime market is Alaska. And what's Alaska? Very visual. If you look behind me, this is actually the Ovation sitting near Hubbard Glacier. And what you can't see, because
right now,
I know, right? But what you can't see because my head is in the way, but if I get out of the way, if you look there, you see that little thing sticking off the top of the ship. That's called the North Star. And it's a thing that everybody, like a round thing that everybody stands in. It lifts off and spins around 300 feet above sea level, and you get a 360-degree view. And in a place like Alaska,
that must be the length of the ship.
No, they're pretty good. They do appointments with it, so it's pretty good. You have to, otherwise you'd be sitting there waiting forever. But I mean, it's pretty amazing, and like I said, no other ship has it. Of course, it has the traditional Royal Caribbean things. It's got the rock climbing wall. It's got the flow rider,
of course,
right? And I always know whenever I go on a cruise, I just want to get a little skydiving in. So they do have the skydiving tube on there as well.
Well, that's always important when you're on a cruise to go skydiving. I used to think it was important when you go on a cruise to go surfing on the flow rider. And then I went on the flow rider, and I don't go on the flow rider any longer. Boy,
Oh,
oh
I wish
boy,
that would have been videoed. Was
wipe
that
out.
videoed?
It was a violent wipeout that reminded me that I play hockey. I do not surf. That was the
Yeah.
beginning and end of the flow rider for me.
I would have given anything to video that and share it multiple times.
That would have been
Um,
bad news. So the North Star is one awesome thing about the Ovation. What's
mhm.
another?
Well, I talked about the iFly, the skydiving tube. You can
That's
actually go
crazy.
and experience. Yeah, it's on there as well. Rock climbing wall, and it has the full complement of the bionic bartenders, the full major promenade that you see on the Freedom class and the Oasis class. So it's really a blend. It's a little bit smaller than the Allure and Oasis class.
Sure.
Not much. So it's about 4,000 passengers. Can you believe we're talking about 4? I remember when 2,000 passengers was a mega ship. Now it's 6.
4,000. When you have double occupancy, it's 4,100. And if they max it out, because sometimes they can pack 3 or 4 people into a room, they can get a little over 4,900 people on that ship. Like that is amazing. Like that I've lived in towns that had fewer people. I actually have, folks. I lived in New England for a while.
And like always, you got Chops. You got Jamie's Italian. And also, you got Boleros. You got, but it does have another thing that no other class of ship has in Royal, and they have the music hall. So the music hall is wait for it, a music venue.
Imagine that.
And what they do is bring aboard the best cover bands you've ever seen. Like when I was on board, they had Journey and they had Bon Jovi. And I've seen both of them live, and I'm telling you, this was fun.
That's awesome.
It was fun. And that's all it is. It's fun. You go in and it's a 2-story venue with the band down on the stage and rocking out to Living on a Prayer and all this stuff. And it's just an amazing full Broadway play, musical, same thing you'd get if you went into New York. I'm not sure what the Ovation has as of yet, just because of everything that's going on. We don't know what they're going to put on there. Sure. When I was on Quantum, it was Mamma Mia, and it was amazing.
Right.
Tons of restaurants. I mean, this ship in Alaska is fantastic. The only problem I see with it being in Alaska is that some people might say, why would I leave this ship to go look at a glacier when I can skydive here, or I can spin around on top of the ship and look at it all? I mean, it's pretty cool.
It absolutely is. And, sometimes people think about going to Alaska and they think, well, after like day 3, everything outside is frozen and everything outside is still frozen. Like, what am I going to do on day 4? What am I going to do on day 5? Well, if you happen to be on this ship, the answers are a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like there's a lot of different options. And you do have the typical Royal Caribbean things, right? You've got, I'm sure that they've got a schooner bar, and in the schooner bar, there's trivia at 10 a.m. Hosted by someone with semi-decent personality and a whole bunch of bad questions and bad answers, and they'll give you worthless swag for winning.
And, don't go on hat day. It gets brutal.
And there are a lot of different things that just sailing on Royal Caribbean can bring to you. But then you take this ship and you add in these other things as well. And I've been on a lot of Royal ships, probably too many Royal ships. But I obviously have never been on something like a North Star or skydiving for that matter. I've climbed the rock wall. I mean, when I say I climbed the rock wall, I probably got about 10 feet up, chickened out, and climbed right back down. I belong on the ground. But if you're in Alaska, then certainly at any point in time, I mean, I've never been there. I want to go, and it's on my list. Like,
that's your next one.
What's that?
I can't believe you haven't been.
I know.
That's your next trip.
I'm working on it.
That's your next one.
Believe me. I want to be out at 3:00 in the morning on a clear night with the moon lighting up the glaciers around, and
whales and otters, and
that's like paradise.
Yeah. And the weather's great. I mean, it can get a little bit rainy, but you know what? We're going to have to do a talk on Alaska. I can't believe we haven't done one yet. We should do one.
Put it on the list. Watch for that video coming up soon, folks. Now, Chris, if somebody did want to book on the Ovation, obviously they can email you at Chris@GoLuxuryCruiser.com. If you're on the web right now, split the browser, bring up GoLuxuryCruiser.com, and you can look at all the different things that this company has to offer to you to put you on this ship where you're going to go. And you don't have to go to Alaska on Ovation just to get helped by Chris at GoLuxuryCruiser.com. Chris can book you in any room on any ship on the planet Earth. That's just kind of how it goes. And also your other travel needs, if you need to fly there, if you need to stay there, if you want to stay an extra week or an extra two, everything you ever needed to do when it comes to leaving your house and going somewhere fun, Chris can help you out with. Unless we're talking about going down to the local rock bar, which, well, go to the one on the Ovation instead, because that'll be
Well, yeah. I mean, I will say that that this ship is great for Alaska, and it's going to be that mega ship experience. So, but I mean, to say Alaska, the nice thing about Alaska is there is a lot to do, a lot to see. Everything from whale watching. If you're into fishing, you can go out and deep sea fish. They even have the dangerous, deadliest catch thing where you go out on a crab boat and they let you throw a couple of pots out.
Yeah, you know what I just heard you say. If you really want to be a bit daring, you can go get the worst seasickness of your life.
They take it easy. You just kind of go out in the bay and they're like, all right, tough guy, throw the pot out.
I got seasickness just thinking about it. My word. This is why I go on the big ships like this,
Yeah. You're not going to feel this one move. I'll tell you that. It's
a big ship, and there's a lot to do. There's a lot to see, and it's just another one to add to your list of things that you want to do. If you want to go on the Ovation, Chris, you got a final note for folks?
Yeah. Give me a call at, look me up on GoLuxuryCruiser.com, or you can email me, Chris at GoLuxuryCruiser.com. And I do have an 800 number, 888-404-5311.
5311. Don't get it
5311. Don't get it wrong. And also one other note about this ship that a lot of the Royal ships have, but this is the first time I actually saw it, is if you do end up booking that inside cabin, what's nice about this particular ship and some of the more newer Royal ships is you do get the virtual balcony. So you go outside. Well, you don't go outside, but you have one whole wall of your room that looks like a balcony, and it's actually a direct camera feed looking outside.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So you get that sunrise in the morning, and you get, and it's nice. And this ship has it all. It has the inside cabin for the person that doesn't like windows, and there are people that love those inside cabins.
So I was on an inside cabin on the Empress. I felt like I was in somebody's closet.
Yeah. And then you have the Star Crown Loft. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you the rooms that are available on this. So whatever your budget is, this shit can accommodate you. And the great thing about it is when you get up to a certain level of suites, you get what's called the Royal Genie, which is basically a person whose whole job it is to make sure that you have the best time in the world. These are guys that know. Paul likes his BLT at 3:35 every day, and there will be a BLT waiting for you and a fresh can of Coke right there waiting for you. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that these guys do. It's not for everybody, but I'll tell you, if you can do it, do it.
Without question. Let's take a break here, Chris.
Okay.
Folks, stick around, because right after this break, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about all of the reasons that the tips and tricks and insider secrets that you need to book the right cruise, for you, to get the best price and the best experience to do everything you want to do and make your dollar go that extra way. And we've got some information coming up right at the break. Chris, hang around for just 1 second, and we'll be right back.
GoLuxuryCruiser is an all-inclusive travel agency waiting to help you book your next adventure or relaxing getaway. If you want a balcony room on Royal Caribbean, a suite on a river cruise to the Christmas markets, or a volcano view in Hawaii, Chris Debonis at GoLuxuryCruiser.com is the expert you need. Call 888-404-5531 or send an email to Chris at GoLuxuryCruiser.com today. GoLuxuryCruiser.com. Explore, discover, go.
All right, everybody, we're back. As you can tell, Chris and I both spilled things on us during the commercial break there, so we both put on new clothes, but we're back to talk about cruising and why you should call Chris Debonis at GoLuxuryCruiser. Email him, chris@GoLuxuryCruiser.com. The email address, as I've said 100 times already, and the website, of course, is GoLuxuryCruiser.com. Easy enough. Now, Chris, you and I have spoken so many times about why people should use travel advisors. And one of the things that always sticks out to me is the fact that people now can do it themselves. And it's very simple to do. You go to the website, you type in the information. You can go to RoyalCaribbean.com if you want, not to pump them, but you can. You can go to Orbitz, they have it. You can go to any one of the things, and I can do it myself. But you always tell me that you can do something differently, and I know that now. So let's talk about why the people who are now watching the video should be calling you instead of booking it themselves. Let's just start with just booking a simple cruise, a simple balcony room or a suite on a royal ship. Why should someone call you instead of booking it themselves?
Well, I mean, the first thing is you get me. I mean, I come from 10 years at sea. I've worked on almost every single class of Royal Caribbean ship there is, and I've probably been to every port of call in the world, minus maybe a dozen. And what I can do for you is I can not only add my knowledge to your cruise, but I can also add value. We can always add perks, shipboard credit. I mean, it really varies from case to case to case, but I can always add something. And that's really what it is. And look, yes, you can absolutely go to Google, type in Caribbean cruises, and you're going to get a million things. You can go to Costco now and order a cruise. But do you really want to order your cruise where you get your barbecue sauce from? I mean, I've never really understood that.
Well, you want to certainly go with an expert. You want to go with someone who knows exactly what's going on at all points and times. And you might try just getting a little bit closer to your mic because you're a little bit quiet right now. Or maybe
okay,
move it a little bit closer. That way we everyone can hear everything we're talking about. Now, certainly if I book it through Costco and something goes wrong, what am I going to do? Call 1-800-COSTCO and be like, hi, so I'm kind of a little bit stranded here. Or, hey, listen, my room is not what I wanted it to be, and I need some help here, and they're not helping me. I don't think that the cashier at Costco is going to be stepping up to the plate, but they could call you, and you might be able to help them out. Is that correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, I probably would have already said, hey, just FYI, this room is, below the pool deck, so you might be hearing noises of them dragging the chairs at 7 a.m. every single morning, and if you're a late sleeper, you won't be on that cruise. That's just a little example.
There's so many things about that that others don't. And I've been on more cruises than I can ever count. And every time we talk about this, you tell me something else that I never thought about when I'm booking a cruise. You talk about being under the pool deck. When we talk about Norwegian ships, celebrity ships, you don't want to be with the magic carpet outside of you. You don't want to be under the windjammer. You don't want to be in the interior on the Allure because it's just a little bit warmer than being on the exterior. Like every time we talk, you have something else. And with all these ships out there, how am I supposed to remember it? Oh, that's right. I don't have to because I can call you instead. Now, at GoLuxuryCruiser.com, people need to know that the experience that they wish that they had, you have already done it all. So you can actually just give them the knowledge. You were on ships for 10 years prior to being a travel advisor for the past 10 years. So there's very little that you're not going to be able to know or help them with. So let's say somebody is booking a cruise in Alaska and they call you and they say, hey, listen, Chris, I want to go in a balcony room in Alaska. Can you give me an idea of what I might consider doing? Like what sort of tips and tricks would you give someone who's going to Alaska?
I always recommend with Alaska, absolutely 100% a balcony cabin. Alaska is a very visual sailing, and there's actually whole days where you spend just kind of cruising around a glacier. And I always recommend an aft facing, so a rear facing balcony, because what happens is when you're sitting there, you can see on both sides of the ship. So if the
Very
ship's
cool.
on this side, you can see and then if the ship's on the other side, so you're not, because if you're on one side of the ship, if the ship turns around away from the glacier, you're not seeing anything.
You
But
got
the
a heck of a look at
aft-facing
the ocean, just like every other time you've been on a cruise ship,
Right,
looking at the
exactly.
ocean, except it's just
and you
really
get great
cold out now.
sunsets. Yeah, great sunsets, beautiful views. And what's nice too is on the aft facing balconies, you're sailing away from a port and you're just watching it disappear. And it's fantastic.
Now, and again, it's stuff like that that stands out. This is why people need to call you instead of, and I book a lot of cruises, and when I used to do it myself, I'd be like, oh yeah, like that one looks good, I'll take that. And then you're walking down the hallway the first time you go into your room and you're like, geez, I didn't think about this. Oh, look at this. I can't believe, why am I here? Can I move? And it just becomes such a hassle and such a difficult thing because, listen, you don't go on 7 cruises a year. So when you get a bad room, you're in a bad room. That's your vacation. And the whole time, all you should be thinking about is, why did I think I should do this myself? There are experts out there that want to help me. And oftentimes, the assistance comes not only with booking, but you can also, through GoLuxuryCruiser.com, help them out with maybe getting a slightly lower rate on the cabin or an onboard credit, right? Like, well, I remember one time I was out there and you're like, right before I left, you're like, oh, and by the way, check your onboard credit. I got you a night in Chops. And I was like, man, that's cool. Like, I'm happy that Chris booked this for me instead of me booking it myself again and missing out on such a thing. And these are things that you can do for people, right?
Right. And here's the other thing too, is the cruise line isn't going to say, oh, you're booking directly through us, we're going to charge you less because we don't have to pay the travel agent's commission. They're not going to do any of that. They're just going to take that money and not give you whatever we would give you and not give you any of the benefits you have from our associations.
Right.
And I can tell you that, from experience, I know what these guys are talking about. I can't tell you how many times I've had blatantly, let's just say, not the best information given to me talking to people that work for the cruise line. And
of course.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's the thing, is when you're dealing with a travel agent, you got to make sure that they know what they're talking about too. It's just like anywhere else. But what I would say is, when it comes to booking travel, always try to use an agent. Find an agent you trust. You can always call me and talk to me. But I mean, to speak to what you're saying is, there's balcony cabins that are very inexpensive on cruise lines. They could be as much as $1,000 less per person. And what they don't tell you is that's where the anchor chain is.
Right. Yeah. And actually, as an aside, I know when you try to book on Royal, like, there are 2 choices. There's like, we'll choose your balcony for you, or for an extra $100, you can pick your own. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, right. Like, I'm going to let you put me in the worst cabin possible. The reason it's available is because everyone who has a brain didn't take that one. Everyone who knows what they're talking about was like, no, I'm not taking that one. That one's right next to the boiler room under the windjammer with the pool in the backyard. Like, no, thank you.
I will tell you, speaking to that, there is some times where you can look at that as glass half full. If you take what's called a guarantee and they sell out of that category, they have to upgrade you. So there are people that like to roll the dice on that. No. And I always say, okay, you could end up in the best cabin. I've had clients get sent up to nicer levels, and I've had them go, yep, they put me next to the anchor chain.
That just sounds like an absolute awful thing to do. And, it's another reason to go with someone like, for those of you who are watching and listening, Chris Debonis at GoLuxuryCruiser.com, is when you're talking with Chris, I can tell you that the customer service starts the day that you introduce yourself, and it ends not at the end of your first cruise, or not when you haven't booked one for a year. You don't get purged from the system. I know that, and Chris and I have spoken about this extensively. If someone can call Chris up and say, hey, listen, 5 years ago, you booked me on this one, and can you help me with this one? And within a couple of minutes and a quick search of a database, Chris is going to have the person's information, double check it, know what they want, know what they're looking for, because he keeps extensive notes on the people, and everything that he needs to do to make your cruise the best thing that you've had for years is this one option. Just call your favorite travel agent, which, of course, is Chris Debonis at GoLuxuryCruiser.com. If you want to do it right, because folks, I can tell you, and I'm not, Chris isn't paying me anything to say this, by the way.
No, as a matter of fact, I had to bring him kicking and screaming over to using a travel agent because Paulie knew everything.
I still know everything, but the new knowledge is what's important. If you're looking to book travel, you can find someone who is a travel agent who read a couple of travel books and got hired by a travel company, and they've been doing this for 6 months. And boy, they've booked 10 or 12 cruises already, and they know what they're talking about. Or you can have someone who's been doing it for 2 years on and off on weekends, and they book their friends and family, and they work from home, and their experience is a little more than a common traveler. Or you can go with someone who actually lived on cruise ships for 10 years, who has traveled so much around the world that this travel advisor can tell you where to go and when to go and what to do when you get there in almost every port on the planet. And then for the last 10 years has been doing that. Both of those options are going to cost you the same, which is usually nothing, but one of them is going to give you what you're looking for, and the other one is going to, we were talking about rolling the dice. Well, yeah, there's your roll right there. So if you're dealing with Chris at GoLuxuryCruiser.com, it certainly is going to make a big difference for your vacation. The easiest way to get in touch, of course, is you can just simply go to the website. The phone number is on the website, right, Chris?
Yeah, everything's on the website.
Yep. Now, you can book the Caribbean, and you can pretty much book anywhere, can't you?
Yeah, no, I can book anything, anywhere. And it's funny, I know we talk about cruises a lot, but I mean, if you need something else, I can do that. If you want to stay somewhere pre or post on your cruise, I can do that. Everything from hotel rooms to villas in Monte Carlo, I can do it all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about that, about taking trains, like after you get off the ship. If listen, you got 2 weeks of vacation, you take a cruise for a week, and then you hop on a train for a week. And you need hotels in the meantime. You need all the information. Like I always talk about cruising because, well, this is a cruise YouTube channel, so we sort of focus on that. But Chris isn't limited to just cruising, because not only has he been to these places, but he's lived in a lot of pretty exotic places and has spent a ton of time in a lot of places like that. So outside of cruising, you can also do that. We've got videos on a lot of the cruise ships. We've got videos on a lot of the ports, a lot of the cities to go to, a lot of events that happen around the world, and anything that you need to do when it comes to booking travel. You can go to GoLuxuryCruiser.com and book just about anything out there. Chris, can you book me to Antarctica, by the way?
No problem. When do you want to
go? When are we leaving? Do you want
to go out on Zodiacs, or you just want to look at it? Do you want to get out with the penguins, or do you want to just look at them from the thing?
I mean, we're probably going to have to stand on the continent, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's going to be, you can't tell people that you saw Antarctica. Like, you're going to have to probably go and walk around and feed a couple of penguins.
You would be surprised. Oh, I'm okay. By the way, in Antarctica, ant meaning Arctica, ant. There's no bears in Antarctica. You got to go up to Arctica, the Arctic, to see the polar bears.
Yeah. See what I get, folks? It's you try to say something a little bit funny, and it turns out that you're just dealing with an expert who won't let things go. There we go.
Well, there's no bears in Antarctica.
Well, you know what? I'm going to bring one just to change the whole narrative of this entire video. And when people are watching this in 3 years, they're going to be like, yeah, they're up. Paul brought them there.
Paul brought that whole family down.
It'd be awesome. But it really is that simple, though, right? Like I just came up with something crazy, like, oh yeah, I want to go to Antarctica. And the answer is like, yeah, you can do that. Like I, for all the things I've ever asked, hey, can we do this? Hey, what about this? Like, what's an excursion? If we're going here, what's a good excursion? Where's the thing to do here? And like, you just always know. And it's another reason why people just absolutely have to call you, email you, and go to the website and find all the information at GoLuxuryCruiser.com and get in touch with you before they book. And if it's a short trip, if it's a long trip, you know, if it's a balcony room, if it's a suite, if it's a junior suite, if they're looking to get into the Haven, if they're looking to get into the retreat or anything, and anything at all, like you're the person to call. And that's kind of what we want people to do. So
we can always add value. We can always add value. We can always add our knowledge to the booking and make sure that, because look, especially in all these crazy times and everything, we want to make sure that the dollar you spend is maximized to where it can't be maximized anymore. So, you know.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And if you're booking a cruise and it's going to be $2,000, but you're getting $2,300, $2,400 worth of value. And then because you did it in a certain way, it actually ends up being more value just based on your experiences than if you had just done it yourself. So
yeah,
bottom line, folks, you don't have to go it alone. You can call your friendly neighborhood travel advisor. Go to GoLuxuryCruiser.com, get in touch with Chris Debonis or one of his partners there at the office, and they will give you all the information that you're going to need in order to have the greatest vacation at the greatest value. And the more you book, the more they know about you, the better your experience will be every time. Chris, final words for the good people who are looking to get in touch with Chris at GoLuxuryCruiser.com.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Paul. I always have a good time.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Later.